Hi guys, long time no chat, but I am back and I'm so excited to be recording a podcast now that I finally have cleared enough space on my hard drive of my laptop and moved it onto another hard drive. And for some reason, this process I had so much resistance to. I thought I was going to do it wrong. And now, months later, I've learned it's very simple and I did it. It wasn't simple at first, actually, but it's because I was doing it wrong. But once I was doing it right, everything moved over seamlessly. So here we are, and I'm just so happy to give you guys a little life update and go back to recording consistent episodes. So if you're new here, my name is Victoria. I am a breathwork facilitator, owner of A Breath of Sage, and I am also an actor and a writer and a bunch of other random things. So today I wanted to talk about this year, 2025, and what has been transpiring. Honestly, since the end of 2024, but it has really come to a head, let's just say. Oh my gosh, lipstick on my teeth. Here we go. Come to a head these past 6 months or so. Where do I begin? I'm going to begin with my trip to India in August 2023. It was maybe the second or third to last day of my trip. I made an appointment to go see a Hindu priest because I wanted him to look at my chart, my astrology chart, and he was referred to me by a friend. And it was this whole debacle where I was like an hour late and I had a translator there waiting for me because no Ubers would bring me there. I can't remember exactly what was happening, but for some reason there was an issue with my app and the Ubers and blah, blah, blah. I think it might have been the universe trying to discourage me from going, because what the person told me in the session, I absolutely believe is true, but I don't know. Knowing this information has been a pro and a con, because even though we might tell ourselves, oh, I'm not going to listen to that, I'm not going to take it seriously, or I'm not going to let it affect me, when you find out something major about yourself or whatever, it's going to be in the back of your mind. So I went to this priest, did a whole session with him. I was wearing a sari and we did a ceremony. I am blanking on the name of the ceremonies there. It begins with a P. I'm so sorry. But anyway, we did the ceremony. He was lovely. My translator was lovely. And what he told me is that, so this was August 2023, and he said that I was in an 8-year karmic cycle where I was going to keep getting these opportunities, but they weren't going to pan out. Not all of them, but like the large majority of them were not going to pan out at all. Like it was just going to be this big thing that was going to come through. I was going to get excited, and then it either wasn't going to happen or it wasn't going to be what I expected, what I needed, etc., until the end of the karmic cycle. So it began in 2018, coming to an end December 2025. And then he was like, December 2025 is when you are going to blow up. Everything's going to come together and you're going to transition into, basically all these manifestations are going to come through that you have been working toward. It's just right now they can't, because based on your chart and where, I think it was where Chiron, I don't know much about this stuff, but based on where Chiron fell in my chart and some other planets and houses, there was this financial block happening. And I know it sounds like a total scapegoat and an excuse and all these things, and I have absolutely thought about all of that. And I honestly was like, I'm still going to get excited about and I have been. I still get excited about opportunities. I still put myself out there. I've been working just as hard as I normally would. But it is, and when things don't work out, it's weird. It's like, part of me is like, oh my God, it's this curse. And then part of me is like, okay, well, at least I know it's the curse. It's like depending on what mood I'm in that day. Or not a curse, but you know what I mean. So we are getting very close to December 2025, which is exciting. And I don't know, I'm assuming that this is part of all of it, but it seems the closer we get to 2025, the bigger the opportunities come in that then do not work out. So obviously I've had a lot of wonderful things happening as well. I booked a Lifetime movie. I'm one of the leads, finished filming that end of July. That's going to be out toward the end of this year, beginning of next year. I've booked several other projects. I was on set 6 months out of the year last year. And then Breathwork wise, that's been a journey for sure. I had a huge opportunity come up with that recently, and at the last second it fell through. And even with acting, there's been a lot of different projects where I was either on hold or on a veil, which if you're not familiar with those terms, basically means it's like down to you and one other person, or down to you and a couple other people. And in almost every case, it went to the other person. In every case, actually. Yeah, because the things I have booked, I just found out that I booked. I wasn't on hold. So there wasn't that like tension. I kind of had forgotten about the project, and then it's like, surprise, you booked it, which is usually how these things are. So what has been happening along with all of that, along with these opportunities that feel very aligned, not working out for whatever reason, I've also had a lot of side job incomes and different things that were not fully aligned with me for whatever reason, just fall away. Just crickets, nothing. It's not a thing that's happening anymore. And I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, this is how it's meant to be. And this in general, 2025, if you want to look more into it, I can link some stuff below. But 2025 in general is the year of stripping, which To Be Magnetic, one of my favorite programs, podcasts, they talk about this a lot. So I will link them below, and you can kind of go through their episode catalog, and there's a ton of information. I'm going to bring them up a lot in this episode. So what was I talking about? Okay. So what was I talking about? So so the podcast, the acting stuff. Oh, okay. The misaligned things falling away. So that's great. I get that. But the thing that has been throwing me off is there's no opportunities coming in to replace it. Little to no opportunities. So I'm just like doing the best that I can with the information I have, and trying to not force or push things that don't feel aligned. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I need like more income to come in. Like I can't live this way. So I'm trusting the process, but at the same time, I'm not going to lie, I've had a lot of mental breakdowns. I've spun out a lot this year. God bless my partner for holding space and being there, and all my friends, family for being there for me through this and being supportive and in a bunch of different ways. But I have definitely fallen into resentment spirals, anger, defensiveness, overreacting, not being in grace, not being in my authenticity, however you want to say it. And almost always regretting that. And almost always it makes the situation worse. And it's funny because a lot of times when these opportunities fell through, I at first was very calm. I was very calm about it. I was like, okay, this is all part of the bigger plan. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, just getting and just droning on and on about it, dragging it out, making it this big thing. So recently I had, there was this one thing. Yeah, there was like two major things recently that did not either it was an opportunity that didn't pan out, or it was like an unexpected charge that I had that put me in a problematic place. And now that, since I've been listening, I always listen to the To Be Magnetic podcast, but there was a few episodes I listened to recently that's all about rejection and how it can actually be seen as expansion, and all about how the universe is never punishing us. The universe is always, when these lessons come about, it's testing us to see what our energy is like, what if we can handle this next level in this, and raise to the vibration of our manifestation, because the manifestation is orbiting you. You're getting tested right now. You're having these quote unquote negative things happen because a manifestation is around the corner, essentially. And so I've heard that before, but it really landed this time. And that's an important thing to note, because someone can tell us things we can hear things over and over again and just brush it off, or literally have selective hearing and not actually hear it. But then when we are ready, it's like, oh, okay, that's what that means. That's what I have to do. And that is absolutely what it felt like this time around. So when these two instances happened within the last couple weeks, I was like, you know what? I'm going to feel my feelings, and I'm going to stay calm. I'm not going to, I think you can still talk about it with people, but it's like the way you talk about it and the energy behind it. I chose to just not talk about it really, or not talk about it in depth. Excuse me. I made sure I journaled about it and had my own process. And when I did speak to the people involved, I was coming from a vulnerable place, but also like there wasn't this charge of like, I'm blaming you or fuck you or whatever. It was just like, okay, this sucks. This is my truth, but it's happening for a reason. It's okay. And at first I still was feeling a lot of anxiety coming up, but then something happened where, and I've noticed this with me, and maybe this is something for you as well, but whenever there's a shift in me, I love music. I love listening to music. And one of the big things I notice is I'll start listening to songs that I loved in childhood. And it's almost like I'm listening to them for the first time. And it's just this exciting feeling of like, why haven't I been listening to this song? And oh my God, this brings me back to this memory. And it's just this, my senses feel reinvigorated. Like I'm just noticing, like for me, music is a big sign, but there's lots of other ways that my senses just feel like they've come online in a different way. So that started happening this past week. And I also have been getting the message from multiple people in my life and podcasts and different things to get back into EFT tapping. So I learned about EFT tapping a few years ago, maybe did it a few times, but honestly, I totally forgot the sequence and how it works and all that. So I was trying to get back into it, and honestly, I did it wrong the first time I tried to do it, and I probably messed something up. I don't know. But then, funny enough, so in 2023, I did Catherine Zankina's MBA, Manifestation Babe Academy. And if you can do it for free. Once you pay for it, do it one time, you can do it for free any other time that she does it as an alumni. So I opened up the portal to do it for this year, and she had an entire little side program bonus thing that was called it was tap your way to financial freedom, something like that. And tap your way to massive wealth, tapping your way to massive wealth, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? So I've been doing that, and I'm on day 3 today. And yesterday I was still I was tapping through the anxiety when it would come up, and I was aware of it. And then I was like, I kept trying to just get rid of the feeling. I was like tapping and listening to meditations and like, trying to get out of the discomfort. And then I was like, wait, like I actually have every right to feel this way. I have every right to feel anxious right now. Why don't I just sit in it? Why don't I just sit in it and let myself feel it? Because there's nothing wrong with me. This is a normal response to what's going on in my life. So I allowed myself to feel it. And of course, I immediately felt better after doing that. And I was sitting in this cafe and I realized I was sitting in the same spot in this cafe that I had sat in when I found out I booked the lead role in that Lifetime movie. And I had kind of thought about that when I was on my way to the cafe. I was like, I always get good news when I'm at this and it wasn't like, I need to go here so I can get good news. Like, it was not the energy at all. It was just like, I wonder if I'll get some good news today if I go to this cafe. And so I went there and I realized I was sitting in the same exact spot. And earlier, either that day or that week, I had been thinking about like this voiceover I did recently, the audition, and just being like, oh, like that would be cool. But it wasn't this desperate energy of like, I need to book this. It was just kind of like, oh, that'd be cool. And how I'm really excited to get more voiceover auditions through my current agency, because when I lived in LA, I would get voiceover auditions all the time, but I don't think my manager at the time had like any connections, because I would work with this company to edit my auditions for voiceovers, and they would always be like, you have a really nice voice. Like, why are you not booking more of these? And I was like, I don't know. So I've kind of been in my head about like voiceovers and using Source Connect. If you don't know what that is, it's a way to remotely do a voiceover, like with like when you book the job, like to remotely do it with whoever the client is that you're working with. So I just had that thought of like, oh, that would be cool. And then and I literally was like, oh, I'm sitting here. I wonder if I'm going to get good news in this spot. And then I get a text that I am on hold for that voiceover job and I'm the number one choice. Now, nothing has been confirmed yet, but I'm like okay with it. Like, I feel very neutral about it. Of course, I'm excited, but I'm also just like, cool. Like, that would be cool. So the lesson in all of this, like there is no doubt in my mind that this win came through because of the way I reacted to the losses, and then the way I passed the test that the universe gave me. It was like, okay, how are you going to react to this other thing not working out? Is the way you react is going to determine if you are ready for your next manifestation. So again, this is like verbatim a lot of TBM work, so definitely check them out. I'm in their monthly program. It's amazing. But yeah, so and ways that I've been regulating on my own throughout this is, of course, breathwork. Breathwork is my go-to anytime something is very, very heightened. It's like there's a block that is just not moving, or I'm just in like a panicked state. That is what gets me through and allows me to process and integrate the emotion. And because, yes, taking action is so, what is that? Okay. Yes, taking action is so important. But if we are stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, or if we just feel so burnt out, or however it's looking for you, when you're at a point where it's just like, I cannot do another thing, or you're overthinking your next move, or you're having traumatic flashbacks or whatever coming up, you're not going to be able to take that aligned action, or at least take it in the right energy or effectively, until you deal with what's going on and regulate your body. So that is why, so these modalities are not a way to avoid taking action at all. It's not a way to be like, oh, well, I feel this, because like you're feeling anxiety for a reason. You're feeling anxiety because there's something you need to do, and you're not doing it for whatever reason. And so your body is, anxiety is a message. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you something. And so it drives me crazy sometimes when people are like, they just want to numb their anxiety, but it's, and like, I do get it because it's extremely uncomfortable as someone who has had anxiety their entire life. But first, you need to really look at why it's happening, and if there is a way to take action to relieve that anxiety, why not regulate yourself and then take that action? Like, that is what is going to, instead of numbing it, like, why not just relieve it, you know? So where are we at here? Okay, I've talked for a while. But yeah, so I think that's all for today. I have some exciting offerings coming up. I am in the process of revamping some things though. And honestly, I'm like, sometimes when I revamp things, sometimes I don't know if it's just my ADHD or my avoidant tendencies or what, but something just doesn't feel aligned with the way I am putting my offerings out there and the way I'm talking about them. And part of me is like, you just need to keep practicing on like sales calls and practicing talking to people. But then part of me is like, no, it's because this isn't authentic to you. There's a part of this program that is not authentic to you, or like the way it's worded or something. Not the breath work. Obviously that's very authentic to me, and same with acting, working with actors. That's become my new focus, by the way, with Breathwork, is working with actors, artists, creatives, but mostly actors. And I kind of want to experiment with like demon taming, like calling myself a demon tamer. I keep getting all these signs that like I'm meant to tame demons, or I'm meant to like help people work through their demons. Like, I literally was cast in a movie called Demon Squad. That's one of the examples. I've had several people come to me with like demon issues recently. And I've also literally, okay, so I'm gonna have to do a whole other podcast on demons, because there's demons within us that we tame. Like, we tame our own demons, because they're not actually demons. They're just part of ourselves that we have demonized, that are acting out because they need to be loved. They need to be seen in some way. And that is predominantly what I would be working with. So I would not be slaying the demons. I would be taming the demons. But there's also dark entities that will latch onto you, and your trauma, your unresolved trauma, is a way for these demons to get in. They're a way for them to get in and to start manipulating you, manipulating your energy, all those kinds of things. Stranger Things, I forget what season it is, but they do a really good job explaining demons and why they are attracted to certain people as opposed to others. So I'm working on all of that. But another thing, I'm glad I'm bringing this up, because another thing I wanted to say. So when it comes to me talking to my friends or family, or like literally anyone that I'm comfortable with, I feel like I am a coaching master. Like, I can coach anyone. I've literally talked people out of killing themselves. Like, just humble brag right there. And sorry, that's not funny at all. But I feel like I can sense what's going on with someone, and like I am gifted in like knowing the solution. Of course, if they are open to it. So the problem is when I'm in a coaching call for my business, or not a coaching call, sorry, a sales call for my business, I am so nervous. I am so fucking nervous that like my mind literally goes blank. And I don't know how to respond to these things people are telling me, when in any other situation that was outside of my business, I would know exactly what to say. Even if I was talking to like a random person at a bar. So it doesn't even have to be friends or family. It's like, if someone's asking for my advice or my input, or like, it's not even advice. It's like I'm asking them questions to help them come to their own conclusions. That's what coaching is. And I feel like I can help a lot of people with that, and I've already helped a lot of people with that in my life. So if you want to be my guinea pig, and if you just have something you want to talk about with someone, I would love to help you. And in exchange for being my guinea pig, I'll make you like a breathwork or meditation audio, or you can do a session with me. Sometimes some people prefer live, some people just want the recording. So whatever works best for you. But yeah, I'll leave my email down there in the, I am burpy today. Leave my email down there in the show notes, and we can go from there. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I love you. I'm so excited to be here talking. And I look forward to the next episode. I hope you do too. I will see you then.